Could an ancient human survive an airport? Imagine an ancient human walking into an airport for the first time, not a modern person pretending to be ancient. A real ancient human mind suddenly placed inside one of the most confusing systems humans have ever built. One moment, he understands fire, weather, animals, hunger, paths, rivers, shelter, danger, and people. The next moment, he is standing under bright lights, surrounded by glass walls, rolling suitcases, security cameras, moving screens, metal detectors, loud announcements, passports, tickets, machines, strangers, and giant flying metal tubes. The first problem would not be intelligence. Ancient humans were not stupid. They survived in a world where one mistake could mean hunger, injury, or death. They tracked animals, remembered landscapes, found water, made tools, read the sky, cared for children, and cooperated in groups. Their brains were human brains. But the airport would not look like a place built by humans. It would look like a giant rule machine, and that is what makes this question interesting. Could an ancient human survive an airport? The answer depends on what we mean by survive. Physically? Probably yes, if someone guided him, gave him food, kept him calm, and explained what was happening, he could move through it like any human could. But mentally, the airport would be a shock. Because an airport is not just a building. It is a compressed version of the modern world. Borders, identity, technology, security, money, time, rules, machines, and trust, all packed into one stressful place. Start with the entrance. An ancient human walks through sliding doors that open by themselves. No hand touches them. No guard pulls them. The wall simply moves. Then the air changes. It is cooler or warmer than outside. Light comes from above without fire. Voices come from nowhere. People move in straight lines, staring at glowing rectangles in their hands. Nobody is hunting. Nobody is gathering. Nobody is building shelter. Yet everyone seems urgent. That alone would be confusing because ancient movement usually had an obvious purpose. You move to find food. You move to find water. You move away from danger. You move with the group. But in an airport, thousands of people move because of symbols. Gate numbers, boarding times, seat numbers, passport controls, baggage tags, and screens full of letters. The whole place is controlled by information that does not exist in the natural world. Then comes the ticket. To us, a boarding pass is normal. To him it is strange. A small paper or phone screen gives permission to enter a flying machine. The person at the counter does not know him. The machine does not know him. Yet somehow, a name, a code, a barcode, and a system decide whether he can move forward. In ancient life, trust was personal. You knew the people around you. You knew who belonged to the group. In an airport, trust is not personal. Trust is scanned. This might be one of the biggest shocks. Modern systems do not need to know you as a person. They need to verify your identity. A passport says who you are. A ticket says where you're allowed to go. A visa may decide whether another land will accept you. A security officer may check your face, your bag, your pockets, and your documents. To an ancient human, this would feel strange because land was something you crossed with your feet. In the modern world, land is divided by invisible permission. Then comes security. This would be the hardest part to understand. People willingly stand in line, remove items, place bags into machines, walk through metal detectors, and allow strangers to inspect their belongings. An ancient human might ask the most reasonable question in the world. If everyone is calm, why are they being searched? If this place is safe, why are there so many guards? If this machine is friendly, why does everyone act nervous around it? Modern airports are built around controlled suspicion. Nobody is treated as an enemy, but nobody is fully trusted either. Bags are scanned, bodies are checked, liquids are limited. Sharp objects are restricted. Doors are controlled. Cameras watch everything. For us, this is annoying but normal. For an ancient human, it would reveal something important about modern life. We created machines that can carry us across the sky, but we also created rules because we are afraid of what humans might do with those machines. And then there is the plane. Nothing in ancient life prepares someone for this. A bird flies because it has wings, feathers, bones, and instinct. A plane is a giant metal object that carries hundreds of people, bags, fuel, food, screens, engines, and seats into the sky. It is too heavy to make sense. It roars, it shakes, it moves faster than any animal. It rises above clouds. It crosses oceans, mountains, deserts, and borders in hours. To an ancient human, the plane would look impossible. But the strangest part may not be the machine. It may be the trust. Hundreds of people calmly walk into the metal tube. They sit down. They buckle themselves into chairs. They trust pilots they have never met, engineers they will never see, mechanics they do not know, air traffic controllers speaking through radios, weather systems, fuel systems, computers, maps, and invisible rules in the sky. Nobody personally checks the wings. Nobody personally inspects the engine. Everyone simply trusts the system. That is modern life in one scene. Ancient trust was local. You trusted the hunter because you had seen him hunt. You trusted the path because you had walked it before. You trusted fire because you understood what it did. Modern trust is layered. We trust strangers, institutions, machines, numbers, codes, schedules, and experts. An airport only works because millions of people trust things they cannot personally understand. This is why an ancient human might actually understand the danger better than us. He might not understand the technology, but he would feel the risk. Sitting inside a giant object that leaves the ground would activate every survival instinct. The body says humans belong on Earth. The machine says not anymore. The window shows the ground getting smaller. The ears feel pressure. The stomach drops. The clouds appear below. The ancient brain would ask, "Why are we doing this?" And our answer would be very modern, because it saves time. That answer reveals how different our world has become. Ancient humans moved at the speed of walking, running, rivers, animals, and weather. A journey of hundreds of miles could mean weeks, danger, hunger, injury, and uncertainty. Modern humans get annoyed when a flight is delayed by 40 minutes. We became so used to impossible speed that waiting feels like suffering. The airport is basically a temple of impatience. People are angry because a flying machine is late. They complain while holding coffee, phones, snacks, passports, headphones, and luggage with wheels. To an ancient human, this would be absurd. A person can cross a continent in one day, but he is upset because the gate changed. That is where the comedy becomes serious. Modern life gives humans powers ancient people could not imagine, but those powers do not always make us calmer. We can fly above mountains, but we panic over boarding groups. We can track bags across countries, but we get angry at a slow line. We can speak to someone thousands of miles away, but we lose patience when the Wi-Fi is weak. The ancient human would be overwhelmed by the airport, but he might also notice something about us. We are surrounded by miracles and still stressed. We have solved problems his world could not solve, but we created new problems made of rules, screens, delays, fees, identity checks, and constant uncertainty. The airport shows that human progress is not just comfort. It is complexity. Every modern convenience comes with a system behind it. Flying requires passports, tickets, fuel, airports, engineers, pilots, security, weather tracking, baggage systems, laws, money, borders, insurance, maintenance, and thousands of hidden workers. The ancient human only sees the surface. But honestly, so do we. Most of us do not understand how the plane flies, how the baggage system works, how air traffic is managed, or how a passport database checks identity. We simply move through the system because we were raised inside it. That is the real difference between us and the ancient human. Not intelligence, familiarity. If a baby is born today, the airport eventually becomes normal. Screens become normal. Flying becomes normal. Documents become normal. Lines become normal. Security becomes normal. But normal does not mean simple. It just means we stopped being surprised. So could an ancient human survive an airport? With help? Yes. Alone? Probably not smoothly. He might miss the gate, fear the plane, refuse the security machine, misunderstand the ticket, follow the wrong crowd, or panic when the ground disappears below him. But give him time, and he would learn. Because that is what humans do. We adapt. The deeper question is whether we are surviving the airport, not physically. Most people get through it, but mentally, airports reveal how strange modern life has become. We stand in artificial light, obey invisible schedules, prove our identity to machines, trust strangers with our bodies, cross the sky inside metal, and then complain that the coffee was expensive. An ancient human would walk into an airport and see impossible technology, but he would also see very old humans, people protecting their children, people guarding their belongings, people searching for food, people following group behavior, people watching authority figures, people getting nervous in crowds, people wanting to reach family, safety, work, home, or opportunity. The machines are new. The motives are old. That is the strange truth of the airport. It looks like the future, but it runs on ancient needs, movement, safety, belonging, trust, fear, and survival. We did not stop being ancient humans. We just learned to carry our ancient brains through security, onto a plane, and into the sky.